This 3x4 sheet, this is some 1/8" mild steel, and it's actually the top of a fluid storage tank I'm building for a buddy of mine who's a mobile mechanic. This holds like 96 gallons of hydraulic oil, and this is the next biggest. This is for engine oil. I think it holds like 52 gallons, and he's got antifreeze and something else in these. So we need to have 2 pieces of pipe in each compartment of this, and you can see I kind of have it traced out here. One goes all the way down to the bottom of the tank so we can suck the contents out with a suction pump. The other needs to be open so, you know, it can vent out when he's adding or pouring fluid in, or he can add or pour fluid through it. So yeah, I guess there's really not that much to it but to do it. We've already gotten the center punch. We use an automatic center punch to you know, give us a nice little dimple here so our hole doesn't wander around all over the place. And let's see here, we will pilot drill these holes. Obviously we want our pilot drill to be smaller than the guide bit and the hole saw, so we'll do this. This is approximately 1/8 of an inch, give or take. And one thing I really like about this drill is it comes with a keyed chuck. Keyless chucks are kind of cool, they're a novelty, and in the metalworking world, as just about everybody watching this I'm sure already knows, they really don't work that well because, you know, they're self-tightening, as is this hopefully. But the thing is, when you get a big like 1-inch drill bit in here, when you're really doing something major with it, you really can't, you know, get it loose after. You have to like put pliers on it and scratch the crap out of it. Nobody likes doing that. Whereas with this, you know, even though no matter how tight it is, you just put some force on this chuck wrench here and it just ejects your bit. So yeah, this thing is not as loud as I thought it would be, and more importantly, it doesn't sound as high pitched and squealy as I thought it would be. And it's also reversible. You have this nice little control under here. Just flip it over like that. I think it's a really cool design. Whole thing's made out of what appears to be polished aluminum. Yeah, righty-tighty, there we go. Whole thing's made out of what appears to be polished aluminum. It looks like a brand new power tool would have 50 years ago. And I'm really excited about this. I think it looks great, and I'm really optimistic to see how well it's going to perform. So we are feeding it off a 1/2" air line. You can see my ridiculous adapter set up here, so hopefully that gets us a little more pillock out of this thing. And bring my air hose over. Yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, this thing does turn obscenely slow. It's a little slower for smaller bits like this, but you know, you can't really have a true variable speed setup. You can adjust the speed a little bit, but that, you know, you lose a lot of torque if it's only open a little bit. So I understand why they do this, and I think it's a good speed because it's a little slow for stuff like this, a little large for say a 3/4 inch drill bit for going through steel. But it's a nice medium ground. I'm glad they didn't make it any slower though, honestly. So we have that. It's really smooth. Another thing I like, I hadn't noticed this before, but up in here, due to the shape of this and the design of this grip, it's really easy to hike your hand up like this and get a lot of force going straight down into your workpiece. And so you get a lot of torque going, a lot of weight on yourself, you can put it to use. And then there's this handle here to keep you from, you know, twisting the crap out of this wrist up here. So, yeah. Sweet, let's keep going. Put some cutting oil on here, makes a huge difference in terms of speed and cut quality and life of the drill bit, even on mild steel like this, most of y'all know. Yeah. This really, it's not that heavy and it's quite ergonomic. So this tool is already cool to the touch. Like, this is far below room temperature in this area. This is only fairly cool up in here. I do hate hole sawing stuff. I wish the steel was thick enough so my mag drill could bite it, but it's only 1/8 inch. Look at that, 1.5 inch hole. I love it. Yeah. Not bad. You know what, really not even that bad on the wrists. And this thing has an obscene amount of torque. It's making my 13 CFM 60-gallon air compressor run about non-stop. But it's a Quincy, so it's a piece of junk in the first place. And this thing is performing extremely, extremely well. Really not bad. Now granted, this is a new hole saw. I honestly think this is actually easier than running this with the electric drill before I smoked it. The problem we're having is instead of getting so hot it smokes, this area is actually so cold it's actually getting a little uncomfortable for me to grab onto. So I'm gonna do the next one with a glove here. I mean, it's a world of difference. It really makes me wish I'd discovered pneumatic drills beforehand. Okay, so I've discovered a very interesting phenomenon running this. When it grabs, it kind of stops. It's not like there's a slip clutch inside, but due to the fact it's a pneumatic tool instead of, you know, an electric one, it stops a lot sooner, so that equates to a lot less damage on your wrist as you're actually drilling through stuff. I'm not an engineer, I can't really explain it any other way, but I will say that using hole saws this size or even smaller, when an electric drill grabs, it hurts a lot more than this thing, which hurts a lot less. So you say, is it less powerful? No, it doesn't feel any less powerful. It feels just as torquey or more, yet for some reason when it grabs, it sucks less. I can't really explain it, but I'm pretty happy with it. Thread cutting oil is your friend. Dark thread cutting oil specifically, for everyone that keeps asking me what I use for drilling. So this thing works extremely, extremely well. Anybody who's ever used a battery-powered, you know, or electric impact wrench and a pneumatic one knows that generally the pneumatic impact is going to have a lot more force behind it. It just plain and simple kicks harder on rusted fasteners, and usually they last a lot longer, not to mention that quality ones often cost less in the first place. And it seems like that's held true with the with this little Ingersoll Rand drill here. So, you know, I was willing to take a chance on this because, like I said, I really love pneumatic tools, and I'm really glad I did because this thing seems legit. Now, assuming it lasts, which I'm fairly confident it will, because it looks like the design of this really hasn't changed in 50, 60 plus years, and it's made by Ingersoll Rand, so they're a pretty reputable company. Unfortunately, it's Chinese. I would have paid a few extra bucks if I could have found a domestically produced one, but, you know, I wasn't able to. But other than that, I mean, it seems like it's actually going to stand the test of time really well. It's all solid aluminum. This part up here might be machined steel. This little left-right flippy switch thing, I think this is really cool. It's a different design, but once you get... Alright, that's enough rambling for now. Okay, so here's the deal. This was filmed in early 2017. It is the summer of 2022 right now. I still own this thing, and it has been basically flawless. There was some sort of issue with that handle. The aluminum casting for it broke, but I don't think I had it on there correctly somehow. I'm not really sure what happened with that, but I've just been using it without that. Other than that, it's been flawless. The drill itself has been completely flawless, and it works great. Like I said, a little over 5 years, and it's been rock solid. The only downside to a drill like this is it is an air hog. I had, at the time we were running this off of that 60-gallon compressor, that upright compressor. I think I got that from Lowe's or whatever. But that's what I had at the time, and it ran just fine, but I wouldn't have wanted a compressor that's much smaller. I'd say like 40 gallons minimum, or else it's just going to be, you know, drained down pretty much constantly. This is not a job for somebody's pancake air compressor or whatever. So yeah, it works great. I love it. I've gotten a lot of use out of this thing.
They still sell them, at least as of last time I checked. I'll check again. If they do, I'll put a link in the Amazon to the Amazon son of a thingamajigger. But yeah, like with everything else, inflation made these a lot more expensive than when I bought mine. But it's been great. It's for serious handheld drilling applications, man, it is the way to go. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more.